This is not breaking news. This is not a scandal. This is not about one person. This is about a system quietly breaking down. A system meant to protect you, to ensure justice is served, now slowly eroding from the inside out. And you might not even notice, at least not yet, because this failure isn't loud. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't come with a flashing siren, but it is no less dangerous, no less critical. Right now, in the corridors of power, something is happening that you should be paying attention to. Something that could change everything you thought you knew about how our justice system works. You'll find no front-page expose, no grand trial, but what you will find is something far worse, a cover-up that goes all the way to the top, a threat to the very core of justice itself. Keep watching. It's more than you think. It's easy to think of this as a story about individuals, people with names, faces, motivations. But that's not what this is about. Not really. At the heart of this, what's truly controlling the situation, what's driving this systemic failure, isn't just a few people or a single political figure. It's the machinery behind it, the hidden forces that have long since outgrown the influence of any one person. The Department of Justice, once a bastion of fairness, has become something else entirely. And it's not just one person who can change this. It's a web, a carefully woven system where power isn't just held, it's enforced, manipulated, and protected. The decisions made behind closed doors are not about justice anymore. They are about something darker, more insidious, and the cost of that corruption is paid by people like you, the ones who expect justice to be blind. This system is already in motion, and it's far beyond the point of no return. What you're seeing now didn't happen overnight. It wasn't some dramatic shift that came with a single moment of outrage. No, the most dangerous changes are the ones that happen slowly, the shifts you don't notice until they're too late. Once, the Department of Justice was something you could rely on. It wasn't perfect, but it was a safeguard, a place where if things went wrong, you could expect accountability. But over time, piece by piece, the foundation cracked. And with each passing year, the cracks grew wider. It started as subtle shifts, small compromises that didn't seem all that important at the time. But those small changes, one after another, set the stage for something far worse. A shift in priorities, in allegiances, in the very way power was wielded. Today, the Justice Department isn't the same as it once was. And those slow, quiet shifts, they've now become a tidal wave, ready to drown everything you thought was secure. Here's where it gets real. This isn't just some abstract failure you can ignore. It's already happening, and it's already costing lives. In Minnesota, the resignation of Joe Thompson and his team isn't just a sign of frustration, it's a signal flare. Thompson was leading a critical investigation into fraud, but when the Department of Justice told him to shift focus to investigate the widow of a murdered activist, he said, enough. That's not just a misstep, that's a breaking point. But let's be clear, Thompson's resignation isn't the story, it's the symptom. A symptom of a system that's willing to cover up a murder, willing to bury the truth, all for the sake of power and control. You think this is an isolated incident? It's not. It's just the first wave of a much larger storm. So, how does this system actually work? It's not as simple as just a few bad actors. It's not about one person's decision or another. The real power lies in the invisible forces pulling the strings from behind the scenes. The Department of Justice isn't just an office, it's a tool. A tool for those in power to manipulate, control, and enforce a political agenda that benefits the few while leaving the many to bear the consequences. Joe Thompson wasn't just a prosecutor, he was a symbol of integrity, someone who could have exposed the rot within the system. But instead of supporting him, the department pushed him to bury the truth, to target a grieving widow. They needed that. They needed the truth to stay buried, to protect the powerful. And who absorbs the damage? It's not those in power. It's the people, the victims of systemic violence, the ones who speak out, the ones who demand justice. The system was never meant to serve them. It was meant to serve the ones at the top. This is how the machine keeps going. The system is already cracking. But now it's breaking wide open. Just when you think it can't get worse, it does. Faster. Joe Thompson isn't alone in his resignation. He's one of many. Legal professionals, public servants, people who have sworn to uphold justice are stepping away. And why? Because they can no longer live with the lies. And what does the DOJ do in response? They double down. They push harder. They silence those who are trying to expose the truth. They won't let it go. Not even when a U citizen is shot in cold blood. Not even when the evidence is right in front of them. This isn't about one case anymore. This is about a system that is running on lies, on manipulation, and on control. And now, with each new resignation, with each new step further into the darkness, we're seeing how deep the rot really goes. But don't think it's over. It's just beginning. Now, let's talk about you, because this isn't just a story for those inside the system. This affects you whether you realize it or not. You may never meet Joe Thompson, or Becca Good, or anyone else caught in this system. But you're paying the price, too. Every time a prosecutor resigns, every time a case is buried, every time the truth is covered up, it's you who suffers. Because this isn't just about one person's failure. It's about a system built to protect itself, not you. It's about a system that's willing to let people die, willing to trample over lives, all for the sake of power. You may think this doesn't touch you, but when the system fails, it fails for everyone, and eventually it comes for you too. You need to ask yourself, what will you do when the system that's meant to protect you stops working? This isn't just happening in Minnesota. It's not contained. What's happening here has global consequences. It's already spreading. When the U.S. justice system, once seen as a model for the world, becomes a tool of political manipulation, the ripple effects are felt far beyond our borders. Other nations, watching this unfold, see an example of how to undermine the rule of law, how to twist systems of justice for political gain. And it's not just about international perceptions. It's about the very fabric of democracy. When power is abused this way, when systems of accountability break down, it invites chaos. It erodes trust not just in government institutions, but in the very idea of justice. The implications of this are far-reaching, and it's only just beginning. Now, we come to a critical point. What happens next? We're at a crossroads, and there are three paths ahead of us. Asterisk, asterisk. The first path, asterisk, asterisk, is one of adjustment. Maybe the system wakes up. Maybe the pressure from within those brave enough to resign creates a turning point. Accountability returns. The system begins to heal. It's hard to believe, but it's possible. Asterisk, asterisk. The second path, asterisk, asterisk, is erosion. The damage continues, but quietly. It's not a loud collapse. It's more like a slow rot. The system becomes more entrenched, more self-serving. It still operates, but with less and less accountability, the power stays with the few, and the many continue to suffer in silence. Asterisk, asterisk. The third path, asterisk, asterisk, is rupture. A complete break. A sudden, irreversible collapse of trust in the system. What happens when it all comes crashing down? What happens when the system fails so catastrophically that it cannot recover? Which of these will happen? I can't tell you yet, but I can tell you that this is where we're headed. The question is, how bad will it get before we reach one of these paths? This isn't over, not by a long shot. The system is teetering on the edge, and what happens next could change everything. You've seen the signs, the resignations, the cover-ups, the refusal to seek justice, and it's all building towards something much bigger. But what will we see? An adjustment, a recovery, or will this spiral into something irreversible? The truth is, we don't know yet, but you can't afford to look away now. The system is broken, and the question is no longer whether it can be fixed, it's whether we'll let it. Keep watching. There's more coming, and you need to know what's next.